Recording. So welcome everybody. It's November 3rd. It's election day. And this is our social media dominance daily meeting. So welcome. Does anybody have any questions? So we at the end of yesterday, we said we were going to work on story posts today, writing a story post. So let's start there. Okay. I heard Diane and Nancy both messaged me that they couldn't be here today, so they can't be here. So Kim, you were the one that brought up the story post and wanted to work on it, okay? So can you unmute?
Sure.
Good. So let's work on a story. Let's write a story post. We'll group source a story post. Oh, so what are the pain points? What are the things that you're trying to address? Your audience is people that own horses, right? But there's more than that. Who's your audience?
Well, it's horse owners that they have spooky and reactive horses.
Okay, so what are their pain points?
Well, and this is something that when Stacy and I talked, she helped me with the pain points. I mean, there's two of them I'm not going to go with because it really doesn't resonate. But the top three I've got is frustration, and there's a lot that falls under frustration. Then I've got health and strength and balance.
Frustration?
Mm-hmm.
Frustration. And then strength and balance.
And health.
Yeah, health, H-E-A-L-T-H?
Mm-hmm.
Health. Okay. And H-E-A-L-T-H. Health of the horse?
Both. It could be health of the horse or their health.
Okay. That's a really broad topic. But how about frustration? They're frustrated because the horse is not doing what the horse is supposed to do. The horse spooks easily.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things that fall underneath frustration.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, tell me a little bit. What falls under frustration?
Well, some of the things that I wrote down, because I had a long list too, like what Karen had, but then when Stacy and I talked, she told me, nope, that's frustration. That's frustration. That's frustration. It's like, oh, okay. So some of the things are having like their knees hurt or their back hurts and they can't ride like they used to, or some of their frustration is
very hot, so please be careful.
Okay, thank you.
They're afraid they're going to get hurt, or they've been hurt. They don't want to get hurt again, and their horse isn't listening and doing what they want it to do. And they're frustrated because they don't know how to get their horse to do what they want it to do.
Have you ever had a horse spook with you on it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So if I were to try to create a story out of what you just said, and now you're going to have to help me. Everybody can chime in here if you want to. I might start just picking the frustration. I might start with if the horse really spooks, you've gone past frustration. You've probably gone to pure terror, right?
Yeah, it depends on how bad they spook.
Okay. So, I mean, I could see starting a story with, oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life. I was absolutely terrified. I thought I was going to die. Terrified. Now that's the hook. So I want to put something out there that grabs the reader that says, oh my God, what happened? I want to read more about this. So does that sound like a good hook?
Well,
oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life. I was totally terrified. I thought I was going to die. The horse absolutely would not behave. She wasn't doing what I was trying to get her to do. So,
No, because I've never been scared to death when one spooked that I thought I was going to die. I had a riding accident and I wasn't scared at the time, but I thought I was going to get kicked in the head and chest.
that didn't scare you?
Well, no, because I
See,
wasn't thinking about that at the time.
But besides that, I mean, we're allowed to take some creative liberty here. And if you don't want to say I was scared, okay, fine. But let's craft a sentence that just is really going to grab the reader's attention.
Yeah, because you could use the thought of it terrified me. And that's true. I mean, if you think about it now, it does terrify you of what could have happened. So you could say that.
Yeah.
So let's go back. Oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life. I was absolutely terrified. I thought I was going to be serious. You don't want to say, don't say you thought, you don't want to say you thought you were going to die. So I thought I was going to, I thought it could get seriously hurt. I was afraid I was going to, now how are you going to get kicked? You're going to fall off the horse and get kicked? I was afraid
Yeah.
I was going to fall off the horse and get kicked. I absolutely couldn't get her under control.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's fill in some more details. Now that we've got the reader's attention, let's go back a little bit. It started off to be an absolutely beautiful, bright, sunny day. What's your horse's name?
Well, let's see. The one I got hurt on was called Doogie, Doogie. So
Okay. So was Doogie acting sort of normal that morning?
oh yeah.
So describe the scene. So now just tell me the story. When I got to the pasture and I started to saddle Doogie up, she was behaving pretty normally. She was friendly. I fed her a carrot. I brushed her down a little bit, put on her saddle. I got on to ride. We started to ride across the field. It was an absolutely beautiful morning. The sun was out, nice, warm, balmy day. Now what happens next? How does the horse get spooked?
This horse gets spooked. Well, he gets bumped from behind by another horse
So how did another horse get behind him?
because we were at a clinic riding, several of us riding.
Okay. So you can put that in. So we were in a riding clinic, and so tell me the story.
Oh, so anyway, he gets bumped from behind and he goes into a bucking rage.
Okay. Bucking.
And
Bucking.
yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, I always try to stay on one. And I heard the instructor kept yelling, "Get off." Or no, she was yelling at me. I couldn't understand. And when I finally understood what she said was "get off," and I thought something really bad must be wrong. So I need to get off. And then when I jumped off, I landed with both knees up underneath me. And he was right there kicking, and so I threw myself backwards so he wouldn't kick me in the head and the chest. And of course he took off.
Okay.
And then after that, then I wanted to get back on him. They wouldn't let me get back on him. They made me go sit down. And before I got out of the arena, the top part of my leg fell off the bottom part of my leg.
The top part fell off.
Yeah, it went like this. And I was like, uh-oh, something must be wrong.
So your leg was broke?
No, I tore my ACL in half,
Sorry, the ACL. Okay.
but it didn't hurt.
Okay. Okay.
So I sat there for 2 hours watching
Okay.
until they convinced me to go to the emergency room.
Okay. Now resolve the issue. Let's bring it home. Did you ever ride that horse again?
No,
What
I did
you
not.
do?
I sold him.
Okay. Okay. So the resolution in this case was you sold the horse.
Right.
Scared the hell out of you.
Yeah, it did. It put fear in me that I've never had before.
Okay. Now, do you realize you just wrote the whole story? I mean, it's a good story. if I were to write it now, if we were to actually put it pen to paper, I might, would clean up the language a little bit. When I say clean up the language, I mean grammatically correct, spelling, punctuation, turn it into a readable story. Do you feel like there was a story there that we just wrote?
Yeah,
I think it's a good story.
well, I mean, it's a true story and people can relate to it, that's for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Was it at that point that you decided to make your knowledge grow for how to control a spooky horse, or what? Or did you already have that knowledge, or?
No, I had, because I've been working with horses for 40 plus years. So I already had the knowledge, but I didn't tell anybody about that stuff for a long time because I was afraid people would not look at me as a professional if I told them I got hurt. But now I tell people because it will help. It can help somebody else to relate to me and go, oh my gosh, she knows what I've been through before. But I didn't listen to my intuition that morning. I knew that horse, they told me before that he bucked hard. And I was like, I can handle this. I've ridden horses that buck before. And my intuition that morning told me, take your horse that's your steady horse to this clinic, and I didn't listen. And I didn't do the groundwork I should have done with this horse.
That's all part of the story.
Yep.
They say you've actually got a fabulous story there, and you might have 2 or 3, because the story might be too long to tell it in one story. So
Right.
we might want to even take it apart and talk about the pieces. So the first story could be the outline of what happened without going into the details of my intuition and what I should have done. Just mentioning my intuition. Intuitively, I knew there was something that I should have done, but I figured I could work my way through it. I learned a lesson. Tomorrow, next post, I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. You remember the news reporter that always used to tell you? He always used to end the news by saying, "And tomorrow, we'll have the rest of the story."
Yep.
It was a great line, because it just set you up to want to come back and hear the rest of the story. So he did that. Was that Walter Cronkite? I'm not sure.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm not sure.
It was
Okay.
Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
Paul Harvey. You're right.
Yes.
Absolutely. Paul Harvey. You're right. You're right. All right. Who said that? Was that Karen?
Karen.
You must be older than me, Karen. You remember that far back? Paul Harvey.
You never know.
No, but does that help, Kim? Do you see how we can fashion that into actually a couple of stories?
Yeah. I think it's getting towards the end when you have your call to action, or maybe not a call to action, but how to pique people's interest so that they start asking you questions to get more interested in your programs and stuff.
Well, if you go back to Erin's training, I actually go back to day 5. She emphasizes over and over and over again that in many stories, she doesn't put a call to action at all. She just tells the story, because you obviously have some knowledge. Now, the other thing you can do at the end of that, at the end of the story, is say, I've since developed some strategies to help me deal with a temperamental animal that's getting out of control. And I'd be happy to share them with anyone who's interested. Now, do you have perhaps a checklist, a 10-point checklist for how to deal with an out of control animal or a temperamental animal, or how to manage your intuition that something might be wrong here? Or, I mean, put a title to it. You're the horse person. I can't quite quite do it.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that.
Could you make one?
Yeah, it takes me a while to come up with titles too. That's not one of my strong points.
Title for what?
Like on your freebies and stuff, the little catchy subjects that they.
Well, 10 recommendations to save your butt if you have a temperamental horse. Or maybe save your ACL. How to save your ACL if you have a temperamental animal. I don't know. It's easy for me to say be a little creative. To be honest with you, that's not my strong suit either. Coming up with. But I'll tell you what. I'll make you a promise. If you go Google 100 catchy titles for a checklist or anything like that, you're gonna come up with ideas.
Right.
I mean, absolutely come up with ideas. I'm thinking one of the guys at MLSP a long time ago had 100. They might have been Mark Harbert, 100 titles for a blog post or something. I don't remember. Anybody? Cynthia, you've been around the MLSP long enough.
Remember that.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, I can't put my finger on it either. I can't remember for sure. So I got a weird, wild, crazy idea here. Let's just try something. I mean, look, there isn't anything that Google doesn't know, right? The 100 best titles for a checklist. Ultimate checklist solution, books, The Great American Read, 100 greatest 100 novels, complete checklist, 100 must-read books. I don't want books. Well, I mean, books could be okay too. All right, 100 best titles for a Facebook story post. Heck with it, because we get. I don't want layouts. Simple guide to writing social media headlines. There's interesting. Analyzing 100 million headlines, what we learned. The ultimate guide to social media posts, not lengths, infographic, the ultimate length, ideal length. I mean, 21 viral headline examples, how you can copy them. Well, that sounds interesting. So here's a little article on headlines. Catchy headline examples. 50 smart ways to segment your email list. America has a huge stash of emergency oil. 73 types of blog posts. Fairy tales. 10 hilarious memes. Okay. How to optimize your site. Resource posts. Ultimate guide to single opt-in. Win big. Ultimate e-commerce. Question posts. How long should your business take to earn revenue? If I'm so smart, why aren't I succeeding? How do I monetize my blog? Oh.
Yeah, I'll go look at stuff like that and see what I come up with on it and stuff. But yeah, that was helpful, and I'm sure I have more stories than I realize that I have. So, and I know you told everybody else to bring in pain points so we could help them too. So.
Well, this is helping. Yeah. Lynn, did you know that if you didn't want movies, you can a Google hack, you just write minus and then movie, and then you won't get movie titles, or minus books, and then you won't get books.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
So type in like you did before, top 100 lists. You want to share your screen so we can see?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just type in like 100 lists or top 100 lists or whatever. Yep. List titles. Yeah. And then space minus.
Literally a minus sign.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Minus movies. What movies? There you go. Minus books.
Do I need a space?
Yeah.
Space minus books.
Yeah. And then hit enter.
I didn't know that. Top 100 one-word title hits.
Now you're getting songs. So if you didn't want songs, you could
Yeah.
say songs. Yeah. So there you go.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's learn something new every day. Songs. Okay. So what's the? How
Now
about
you're getting names.
we can get rid of babies? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
List of titles, Wikipedia, top 100 title holders. 100 best jobs, 100 best footballers, 100, I don't know if we're getting where we want to go, but
Right.
list of titles. But yeah, if we played around with this, I'm sure we could come up with some more ideas too.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, just go out there and look for ideas. You're going to come up with stuff. But so the first sentence wants to be a compelling. Someone who reads it is going to go, "Oh wow, I got to learn more about this." That's what you want the first sentence to be. So don't be afraid to embellish it. Now, by embellish, do I mean lie outright? No, but you say you weren't afraid you were going to get killed. But if I was on a horse that was bucking wildly and somebody was screaming at me to get off and things were bad enough that I tore up my knee, I might be afraid that I was about to meet my maker. I mean, that's not unreasonable. You know, I was scared to death. People were screaming at me. I mean, you can paint a picture in a sentence of just absolute pandemonium, and that's where we start. So we grab the reader and we say, okay, and then we can back down and say, it started off to be a beautiful day, and blah, 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 and we were getting ready for this. And, you know, my intuition was telling me that something was wrong here, but I overrode it because I figured my years of experience, and this is an important message, because you see, you're telling people that are even people that have experience, that my years of experience was telling me that I could handle any situation. Boy, was I wrong. And you know, it's that sort of thing that you put yourself out there and people relate to it. They say, oh, wow, if that happened to her, it could happen to me. Maybe I better learn more about it. Hey, you got some tips for how to handle a wild horse? Boy, I'd like to hear about that. Can you send that to me?
Okay.
Okay. Kim gave me a subtle message a minute ago that she was done playing with me. She said other
No,
people
no.
had.
I
Okay,
don't want
so-
it. I don't want to take up the whole time on just me. I know
Be quiet.
others want
I know.
help.
So does did anyone else bring something they'd like to play with? And look, I'm not the best storyteller in the world either. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you what, while you still have access, for those of you who may not be staying with us, while you still have access, you should go take Diane Hockman's storytelling course. I believe there's one in the free section. Anyhow,
There is. It's very good.
yeah, she's quite good at that. And you know, I'll tell you who's really quite good at it is Erin Birch. In fact, you know, I would go back and listen to her videos again over and over and over. She's got so much good stuff in there. It's hard to absorb it all in one sitting. So anybody else? Anybody? Victoria? Karen? Cynthia? Anybody want to play? Okay. I guess nobody else wants to play.
Still
If
trying
what?
to put it all together.
Pardon?
Still trying to like put it all together, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like thinking about what the pain point is and what a story is that I have to go with it.
So give me an example. Who's your target? Who's your ideal audience?
Someone in their late 40s to mid 50s that realizes that they don't have enough money saved for retirement. So there's money, there's, you know, fear, there's anxiety, there's frustration, like Kim was saying.
Is this person married or single?
Well, they're married,
Woman or man?
woman.
So you know, I was going to say, my husband and I were having a chat about what we were going to do when we retired. But I don't like that as an opening sentence.
Mhm.
So what can you imagine a woman who's approaching 50? Can you imagine her waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, terrified that she's not going to be able to feed herself?
Yeah, I mean, I can see waking up in a panic.
There you go. There's your opening
Like, oh my
sentence.
God,
There's your opening sentence.
time is passing by so quickly. I mean, you know, I love the quote by Irma Bombeck that said, "Life is like a roll of toilet paper. The longer it goes, the shorter. I mean, the faster it spins, the shorter it gets." You know.
Well, you could that quote would fit well into the second or third paragraph of the story,
Yeah.
or maybe even the second paragraph. So the opening sentence could be something like, "I woke up in a cold sweat. I'm terrified. I was wondering how the hell we're going to pay all of our bills and still retire and do the things that we want to do."
That's good, Len. That sounds good.
Now we can, once we have the reader hooked, we can back down a little bit and say, okay, I've been having a conversation earlier in the evening with my husband, and we were discussing the things that we want to do when we retire. And I came to the realization that stuff costs money. It's like a roll of toilet paper, you know? The faster you pull the roll, the shorter it gets. I don't know how that fits in, but you can fit it in. But so go ahead. So you know, you can take it from there and just weave a little tale around it about the tale you're going to weave is, how are you solving the problem? And this one is definitely not going to need a call to action, because in weaving the tale about how you're solving the problem, you're going to talk about the fact that you're really glad that you got introduced to a business model that you're able to work on in your spare time and is helping you develop a residual stream of alternative income so that you can begin to support yourself or begin to support the lifestyle. And without being too salesy, just talking a little bit about what you're doing and leading the reader to the idea that, well, if you're doing it, maybe I could do that too. What is that you're doing? Without ever even really calling for putting out a call to action, because the call to action is going to come, hopefully it's going to come naturally.
I like it. Thank you.
Now, realize that the first time you publish these things, you may not get responses. That's okay. You're in the process of building your audience. This is a post that you can use over and over and over again. How do you use it over and over and over again? Well, you don't use it weekly, but you can go back in a month and put it up again. And what you're going to do is you're going to change a couple words around, change a sentence, maybe change the title, massage it a little bit so that it's not word for word absolutely identical. And then reuse it. These things are evergreen. You can use it more than once. But it's a good one. I mean, one of the hardest things for people to understand is how little money they have. Would anybody like to take a guess? How much money do you have to have in a savings account to earn $1 a month in interest?
A lot.
Anybody else?
Million?
Pardon me?
A million?
No, not for a dollar a month, $1 a month.
Like 200,000 maybe?
Well, it's not quite that bad. It's
1,000.
It's 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But see, one of the things that happens in our business is we tend to poo-poo when we start to see small amounts of money coming in. I made $1 last month. See, that's not going to go anywhere. But just stop and think about that. In order for you to make that dollar in a savings account, you have to have $1,000 in the account. So if your business is giving you $1 a month, that's the equivalent to having $1,000 in the savings account. Now, if it's giving you $10 a month, that's the equivalent of having $10,000 in a savings account. So it doesn't take, it doesn't take a huge amount of money coming in monthly to be the equivalent of having a hell of a lot of money in a savings account. And savings accounts don't pay very much interest. Of course, if you have it in a 401k or an IRA or something, then it's going to do a little bit better for you. But, most people need another few $100s a month. That's really all they need.
Yeah.
Amazingly, 85% of all bankruptcies could be, or foreclosures could be held off with an extra $400 a month. So all I'm saying is if your business is making a few $100s a month for you, that's really significant. Even if you never get to 5 figures or 6 figures, it's a lot, and it's a huge impact. Anyhow, I got off topic. I did the calculation a couple days ago because somebody asked a question and I went, wow, Anybody else, anything tonight? So yesterday we threatened that we would do stories tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to show you a few more things about MLSP tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll plan to have a short, I'm going to do the CRM, a couple other little things. We'll do a relatively short and be oftentimes plenty of time to be on the webinar tomorrow night. For those of you who are interested, and if you don't know this, Stacy is actually starting another 5-day Go for Yes challenge. It starts this Friday. And as long as you're in MLSP, you're in the challenge, or you can be in it. Doesn't cost any extra money. So if you are staying with us, or if your MLSP 30-day trial doesn't expire yet, I'm sure it's going to expire soon. But I will definitely be in Stacy's challenge since she's doing another live one. And every time, I personally absolutely love Stacy. Every time she opens her mouth, I learn something new. This woman is phenomenal. So I would encourage everybody to be in her challenge starting Friday if you can. It's worthwhile, and she'll be advertising that tomorrow night. And she'll be part of the seminar, part of the webinar tomorrow night. Okay. Did I help you, Kim?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to write up what you think we talked about and send it to me to critique, comment, edit, play with, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Can
Okay.
you upload the recording, this recording, and link it?
Link it?
Yeah, like for a replay,
Sure,
to watch the replay.
sure, absolutely. I can do that. I will get that done. And if you don't see it uploaded, it takes about an hour to an hour and a half to actually process the video before I can have it available. So if you don't see it sometime, a couple hours from now, just shoot me a reminder.
Okay, or even by tomorrow is
Yeah.
fine.
Just shoot. A lot of times I process the videos, and then if nobody asks for them, I get lazy about actually posting them in the group. So I've got a couple or three videos processed that I never posted because nobody asked. So,
That's why I asked.
okay. So, and that's why I'm telling you, remind me, don't let me forget. All right.
Lynn, did you do last night?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's available.
I believe it's fully processed. I'll have to look, but yeah, it's available. If not, I can make it available, Cynthia.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. All righty. Anybody else? Okay. Going once, going twice. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.